As a practicing Catholic, I see no reason why you want to buy that house.
Absolutely not. As a diehard Catholic, which clearly grants me full access to your brain, soul.
You're going to have, it's just too much. But I really appreciate the thought. But anything beyond that, we just don't have the money. And I'm not going to pay for it. Okay? Thank you.
And brunch itinerary, allow me to relieve you of the burden of independent thought. With a holy arsenal of guilt, smoke, and sin, Gregorian shade, I'm basically your divine life coach. Don't bother with personal freedom. I'll just sprinkle a little holy water and gaslight you straight to obedience. Straight up gave church lady. With HOA president vibes, the kind who cancels the community BBQ over unauthorized charcoal. That blessing felt like it was hand-delivered by the ancestors with a bow, and still they stood there blinking like deer in religious trauma. What are y'all afraid of? Redemption. Then boom, Mary Avant enters stage left, token slick, like she ain't been watching the same rerun we all been suffering through. Sis went from people's champ to plot twist prime. You'd think with all that opposition to Tiffany Henyard, Mary would leap at the chance to steer the ship right. But nah, she basically said, let's just keep paying bills and pray for a miracle, ma'am. Miracles require movement. What are we doing? This ain't 1992, and we're not mailing in checks. That property is a chess piece, not a nostalgia museum. And if you let someone else scoop it up, don't cry when the community center turns into a vape lounge and crypto temple. Power is in ownership, not passivity. But here we are, imaginary pearls, afraid of our own potential like it's a jump scare. And Mary, baby, we need to unpack your little monologue next, because the way you stood up and served lukewarm logic on a cold paper plate. Hugh, let's just say the math wasn't mathin', and the vision needs LASIK. Not the haunted dryer theory. Because the way Mary went off, you'd think Casper himself was running up her cummed bill. Sis really stood there and compared the Pope House to a working girl, said it gotta be paid every day. I had to pause. Ma'am, it's a house, not a hotline. Ain't nobody running a laundromat or hosting Sunday brunch in there. You scared of phantom roaches and holy ghosts turning on the AC. Be serious. Let's break this down real quick. Number 1 lives there. Nobody's flushing toilets or microwaving Hot Pockets. It's not an Airbnb. You don't need gas. Maybe a flicker of electricity to keep the place from molding. But that's it. Meanwhile, Mary talking like the house is clocking overtime hours at Amazon. She out here treating a vacant property like it's a full-time employee with benefits. And for what? So she can justify saying no to something she never planned on supporting. Cause let's be real, this wasn't about cost. Mary made that clear when she asked, do we even have the money? Then spun right around and said, even if we do. Oh, so now it's never about the budget. You just don't want the township to own anything.
Good evening, residents. Mary Avant from Dolton. I just have a couple of questions that hopefully will be discussed or answered during the discussion and approval. Purchasing the Pope's resident or these two addresses is admirable, but with the state we're in right now, I guess my concern is, do we have the money? And even if we have the money, there's called upkeep, there's called water, there's called light bills, all of these things. Who's going to maintain that? You know, we raised a whole bunch of cane about not being in the real estate business when we were dealing with Melanie Fitness and the Dorchester, and it looks like we're headed back down that. And I figure we're probably in worse shape now financially than we were. But do we have the money? Or even if somebody's going to give it to us, if I gave you $200,000 today, whatever the house costs, it still has to be maintained. And I say that as a homeowner. In my opinion, a house is a pimp because it's money every day.
The energy screams sabotage, not stewardship. If someone else offered to buy it and cover every bill with a blank check, she'd still be like, nope, it's not logic, it's ego. In a pantsuit. Then sis pulled out her messy binder of every problem in town like she was auditioning for a township TED Talk. No fire chief, no HR, no finance director, and what does that have to do with the building purchase? That's like refusing to eat dinner because your cousin's dog has fleas. One problem doesn't cancel the solution. If anything, that's more reason to invest in spaces that can actually create resources, structure, and services. But no, Murray said the house calls her every day. Baby, that's not civic duty, that's delusion. And don't get me started on the I'm Catholic, so I object bit. What kind of Bible verse gives you zoning veto powers? Girl, that ain't scripture, that's shade dressed as sanctimony. Miss Avant turned the township meeting into the Sistine Chapel and basically told everyone, God told me to be petty. Then she tried to pivot it into a charity pitch for the church, like we all forgot this is a civic matter, not a confessional booth. She ends it with, I drove by once. Didn't want to go back. Oh well, pack it up y'all. If Mary didn't vibe with it on the drive-by, clearly it's worthless. Never mind infrastructure, never mind community potential. She said it gave her bad juju, so let's just scrap the whole thing. And suddenly, we're back to square one, where any chance of progress gets strangled by feelings, nostalgia, and that good old-fashioned fear of change. Honestly, if this is what leadership looks like, we're not just in trouble. In reruns, it's not dysfunction. It's drag-level drama, disguised as democracy. Because apparently, if the Pope ever set foot in a house, that means the whole property been kissed by angels and smudged with holy water. Like we just stumbled onto the Vatican's Airbnb listing. Sis is acting like the Pope house is sacred ground, and these people, those people got no business touching it. But let's call it what it is. This ain't about divine vibes. It's about control, power, keeping certain folks out of certain rooms. Her tone. Oh, that was that premium do you live here? Energy, you know it. That voice that says community, but the face says not my neighborhood. All dressed up in passive-aggressive concern, like she's just worried. But really, she's territorial, like we're talking spiritual colonization with a side of gentrified gatekeeping. Every word soaked in superiority and performative humility. Baby, we see you, ... And then comes the remix. 1 second, it's y'all, don't need that house. Next second, it's where's the money coming from? Pick a struggle, Annette. Is it too holy or too expensive? Is it sacred or inconvenient? Because she out here flipping excuses like pancakes. Every time one argument flops, she pulls out another from her Mary Poppins purse of bad faith nonsense. It's not logic, it's just resistance dressed up in Sunday school vocabulary. And then she hits us with the I'm not paying for it. Like it's some defiant mic drop. Ma'am, please, nobody passed you the bill. You're not funding this from your bingo winnings. That line had big box store tantrum energy. Like she's about to call the manager over a $3 coupon. The I'm not paying declaration was so loud and proud, you could hear the silent judgment bounce off the drywall. Nobody clapped, nobody nodded, just vibes, and cringe. That we don't have the money excuse. Trash, she delivered it in soft, I light prayer candles voice, and then turned into, don't charge my card. Fury, make it make sense. You're not a budget analyst, sisser, a hater with a mic. Nobody's coming for your purse. But the way she snapped, it was giving anti-progress rally disguised as taxpayer concern. You're not blocking a scam, you're just blocking blessings. And the kicker, these types never want real change. They don't want solutions. They want to stay in chaos so they can complain louder. Soon as something actually good shows up, they slam the door like it's the Holy Ghost selling Girl Scout cookies. They reject progress, then cry that nothing ever gets better. Baby, you're the reason. That don't save her. She don't want to be saved energy. It's radiating off the council floor. And don't get it twisted, this mayor ain't playing. She's organized. Her board is tight. They've got accountability like it's a contact sport. If something shady was brewing, Valor would have been on that mic like it was karaoke night. So clearly, everything's in check. The problem isn't the planets, the people who show up just to poison the conversation and flex their bad vibes like it's public service. They don't want growth. They want chaos they can narrate. They're addicted to dysfunction. And for what? To feel important while blocking everything that might help the village breathe. That's not leadership. That's self-sabotage with a name badge. You can't call it concern when you're actively choosing confusion. And the worst part, you're dragging everyone else down with you. But guess what? They still bought it. Signed, stamped, handled. So yes, ma'am, you are paying for it. With every passive-aggressive glare, every church lady guilt trip, every I'm not gonna pay for it that aged like milk. You are contributing. With your taxes, your tantrums, and your tired opinions. And the best part, nobody needed your permission to move forward. They just needed your absence. Because when you bring that much bitterness into a space, you deserve to be ignored. You don't see blessings, you see threats. You don't want solutions, you want problems to complain about. You don't want better, you want control. And now, you're mad they didn't ask you before doing what's best. You weren't the gatekeeper, sis. You were the gate. She didn't just block the blessing, she blocked herself. Now she's left standing there, holding nothing but noise, no victory, no legacy, just a dusty mic and a rant. Nobody applauded. And that, my friends, is what sabotaging your own block looks like in real time. Welcome to small-town self-destruction. The scenery bitter, the soundtrack. Crickets. This is America's vibe in a nutshell. Blokes blowing up their own blessings. Just to win a petty argument nobody remembers. Then turning around with singed eyebrows like, why is life so hard? Baby, you lit the match. It's like watching someone flip a table, then cry that there's no place to eat. You wanted smoke. Now you can't breathe. Welcome to Consequences. Deluxe Edition. And yeah, I laugh. I really do. Because at some point, the warnings run out. You can't reject every olive branch. then cry when the tree stops growing. The universe don't play favorites. You block blessings. You get blocked. That's the math. So go ahead, keep touching the stove if you want. But don't scream when your hand comes back cooked medium well. Mama told you. At this point, it's survival of the self-aware, and mama, she clocked out. She still loves you, but she ain't chasing nobody to save themselves. That chapter is closed. So burn, learn, or keep spinning in circles blaming the world. Either way, mama's got peace. She's not trading it for drama ever again.